I'm not gonna lie, me and this paddleboard got off to a pretty rocky start. I was thinking this would end up being a pretty negative review, but as I spent more time with it, my opinion has been adjusted. But let's start at the beginning with the unboxing, and kind of take you through my experience with this board. It arrived quickly and was well packaged. Aside from the board, you also get a nice paddle, a pump, a storage backpack with external storage and a card holder, then the fin, extra pump attachment, and a manual. Then you also get a dry bag, a patch kit, and a safety leash. The paddleboard comes with this little clip to keep it from unrolling by itself, which is actually kind of a nice feature that makes it easier to put in a bag. As I unrolled the board, the first thing I noticed was the very thick padding towards the end of the board, which is nice to have, especially if you're sitting on the board. The included pump works fine and can be used for inflating or deflating depending on where you connect the hose. Since the boards do not insta-inflate, I do recommend getting an electric pump. While nothing is funner than spending 5 to 10 minutes on a hot summer day inflating a paddleboard to 10 to 15 psi, I personally prefer to let a motor do that work for me. I have tested several paddle boards, and I must say the paddle that comes with this one is one of the better ones that I've seen. It's got a nice clasp and a groove in the handle part of the paddle so that the grip doesn't twist in your hand. This is where I had a couple things about this board I didn't like. The first thing I noticed is the board is missing some connections on the internal material that keeps it rigid when it's inflated. This is not a huge deal, and missing a small patch has not caused any negative effect on my board, but it still shows a small lack of attention to detail. But my main issue came when I was trying to install the fin. First off, there was a little guard in there that was supposed to prevent the mount from deforming, and well, let's say it didn't help. Because at first it took forever to get the protector out, then it took forever to get the fin in there, and eventually I had to stop playing nice and use a rubber mallet to get it attached. Naturally, I also had to use the rubber mallet to take it off later. Luckily, the fin plastic is very sturdy and it could take the abuse. Luckily, I did solve this problem eventually by grinding down the fin plastic as it had some imperfections. And now it works fine and I can attach it and detach it by hand. But as you can imagine, at that point, I was not too happy with it. But I decided to go test it out on the water to still give it a chance. And I have to say, it did redeem itself. First of all, in my opinion, this is a very beginner-friendly board. Its shape gets wide fast at the front and tapers off a little at the end, so it's wide pretty much all the way through, unlike boards that are more sharp in design and only wide in the middle. So this makes it easier when you're just getting started. It also has only one fin, which is great for anyone planning to use this on flat, calm water bodies. The one fin setup makes it easier to use this because it has less drag, allowing for easier paddle with more speed. While the 3-fin board is considered more stable, I think the shape of this board compensates for the lack of the other 2 fins, and in my opinion, this is more stable than several 3-fin boards I've tried. This board can hold up to 330 pounds, and with the D-rings along the sides and a storage space up front, there are many different uses for this board. You can throw a seat on it and use it like a kayak, or pack gear on it and take it camping. So my final impressions are that despite a rocky start and a couple imperfections, this ended up being a nice paddleboard that we enjoyed testing and using.